Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Game Theory. So, now that I was finally able to play Tears of the Kingdom, I've been able to piece together some more information for theories on this part of the timeline. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about the wonderful world of the depths. Now, with playing Breath of the Wild, I had already theorized that it was a fixed point in the Zelda games that actually merged the three timelines back together. Well, Tears of the Kingdom threw a big monkey wrench into that. First is the talk of the Imprisoning War and the Demon King, which I originally thought they were referencing Demise. But the biggest monkey wrench was Ganondorf swearing his allegiance to the King of Hyrule. We first see this scene take place in Ocarina of Time, and then again in Tears of the Kingdom, where he swears his allegiance to the first King of Hyrule, Rauru. Now, of course, this didn't add up. Having Rauru as the first King of Hyrule could have been a little more easily explained, seeing as how there is no confirmation that the first Link and Zelda actually founded Hyrule or even led Hyrule. But seeing as how Ganondorf was the Demon King here, and he wasn't around until the events of Ocarina of Time, that threw off the timeline. Or did it? And for this theory, we take a trip down to the depths. It honestly was a challenge piecing the puzzle together, but the more I visited the depths, the more I started thinking about it. And I thought, what if the depths is old Hyrule, and the surface is new Hyrule? So Rauru was first king of New Hyrule. It wouldn't be too much of a stretch to say that old Hyrule had died out while new land was formed or built over it, and this wouldn't be the first time this has been seen in both real life and fictional work, as it has been that cities have been built over before, and so the same could have happened with Hyrule. This could explain why some things became merely legend or forgotten, while some names and stories continue to be passed down through time. Now, how long before New Hyrule that the Zonai have been around is still questionable, although the constructs do look eerily familiar. Of course, they do bear a small resemblance to the ancient robots of Skyward Sword, so I feel a bit of a conspiracy going on there. Regardless, this Hyrule reset could support the idea of the timelines merging back together again. This also brings in the possibility of Ganondorf being reincarnated, seeing as how he finally meets with his death at the end of each timeline. Throughout the games, unlike Link and Zelda, it's always the same Ganondorf who's usually breaking out of his seal, so I believe this time he was finally reincarnated, showing that Demise's curse will still continue to chase the hero and the goddess throughout all of time. The depths do seem to mirror a lot of the surface, but how it is that old Hyrule would have died out and the new Hyrule was formed would still be unknown. But considering the fact that there are constructs and mines in the depths, it's safe to say that the Zonai would have been there when it happened. It's a possibility that they could have caused it to happen, or they may have known that it was going to happen and were there to usher in the new Hyrule. It will be interesting to see if future Zelda games will build off of the depths and give more clues to what they are or not. And another theory that could explain how this happened could possibly go back to the three goddesses. It's possible that Hyrule was under enough of a threat that the goddesses would have had to have sealed it under new land to protect the Triforce, which we've seen done once before in the adult timeline when Hyrule was flooded after Ganondorf had re-emerged from his seal. And although we've only seen the Triforce emerge once, that doesn't mean that its power wasn't originally sealed away in the depths. And Zelda's studies of ancient Hyrulean texts could unlock more about it. That's assuming that they continue with this Link and Zelda in the next game. Some people like to say that Breath of the Wild was a soft reboot, but I just don't see that myself. As I've explored the depths, they could be the key to Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom's connection to the timeline. With stories of the legendary heroes and references to names like Nabooru and Ruto, it stands to reason that these games play more of a role than just reboots. But what are your opinions on it? Do you think that the depths are old Hyrule, and that Rauru was first king of new Hyrule? Let me know in the comments, and be sure to like and subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified for new content. And remember to keep gaming.